time ago in high school, the same mentality, but I gave up on that once I went to the Navy, and I was like, I said, dude, I saw dudes from all walks of life that made it in the SEAL teams. And yeah, it's a physically demanding job. You have to be physically fit, but there's a difference between being physically fit, athletically physically fit, than just like packing on this fucking unusable muscle.
Yeah.
You're just getting big to get big. Like that's the most, like, half people don't want to realize that. I built the way that I'm built because of my genetics. If you look at my brother and you look at my dad, you'd be like, wow, you guys all have the same physique. Like you have a short, stocky physique. I can't help that. That's my genetics.
How tall are you?
5'8".
Okay.
My uncle Chris the same way. But people don't want to look at genetics. Like you can only go so far with your genetics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's something I talked about on my other channel. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Like you definitely see guys that have way too much muscle on, and then they're good for about like 2 minutes, and then you're like, oh, he's done. Like there's that one guy in our class comes in with his girlfriend, and he's definitely doing something, because even all the little young guys in our class were like, hey, is he doing steroids? And they disrespectfully too, by the way, because some of the younger guys were asking our teacher, Kevin, we're like, is he on steroids? I'm like, dude, he can fucking hear you. You guys need to be just chill. It doesn't matter. He won't know. Just let the dude do what he's gonna do.
He might not be.
He might. I disagree, but he's a nice guy. He seems nice. His girlfriend comes in too. She looks like she's a bodybuilder chick too. So, you know, I have nothing against the guy, but you could definitely tell like he's winded very quickly, very quickly. So there is a certain level of usable muscle. Like if you're just looking to look pretty and you want to be one of these dudes that just takes off your shirt and flexes for chicks, like whatever, that's what you want to do, that's fine, whatever. But just be aware that there is a certain amount of usable muscle. Like your lungs can only pump so much constantly to all that muscle.
Right.
You know, there's go and show. You know what I mean? There is a difference there for sure.
No, you're absolutely. I mean, I guess that's where like the difference between training, like athletic training, and just
for sure, bodybuilding. We're just looking for a pump.
Because even when I was in the Navy, dudes are like, you know, what do you
bench, bro?
I'm like, I don't bench, bro. I don't bench. I'm like, I do 500 push-ups every night.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got a chest that big from doing push-ups. I'm like, 500 every night, yes. And well, again, back to the genetics.
Right, genetics plays a huge role.
That might not be the same for you or you.
Right.
I mean, you seem like kind of a bigger guy, and so it might work out great for you. It just depends.
Right.
And my 500 was 500. It wasn't like I went and did 150 and then lied about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I had a pretty standard routine. I mean, I was doing over 100 pull-ups every night religiously.
Pretty good.
100 pull-ups, like that was my standard. I had, unless my arms or something was feeling kind of sore, then I'd still do like 75. But I got to a point I was doing 100 plus pull-ups every night, 500 push-ups. You know what I mean? 300-400 sit-ups, and that's what I did. I did a couple hundred dips, and like I'd spend 2 hours doing push-ups, sit-ups, dips, just body weight stuff. I worked out with this guy who was a chief over in Little Creek. I was in the teams. And the first day there, we were working out, and he comes up to me. He's like, "You need to fucking quit hitting the weights, bro." And I'm like, "Chief, I haven't lifted weights in like 8 months or more. It's probably longer than." I'm like, I just do push-ups and sit-ups. Like I stopped lifting weights. Like I lifted weights for a few months right out of boot camp, just because like I lost a fucking ton of weight, like muscle mass. And then after that, once I started working out with some of these guys, I was like, I can't do these exercises. Like weights are not going to help me. Like I have to start doing push-ups and pull-ups and dips and sit-ups and running and swimming. And so that's what I started doing. And again, the genetics thing. But people are like, yo, you got like arms that big. I'm like, yeah, dude, if you still look at gymnasts. You don't believe me? Look at gymnasts. Look at their arms. Yeah, they're small guys, pound for pound wise. But they didn't get arms that big because they weren't doing pull-ups.
Right. I mean, they're constantly working their arms.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Some of the shit they do is some of the hardest. I mean, they are pound for pound the strongest guys in the world. And I've read that in multiple strength and conditioning articles.
Well, yeah, those guys are very, very light, very, very lean, and they're able to do incredible things. But those people look at shit like that, and they're like, "Yo, bro, all I gotta do is do some pull-ups and some benches, and I'm good to go." And it's like, dude, those gymnast guys are in the gym for like 8 hours a day.
They start them off at such a young age because they have to develop connective tissue strength. You know what I mean?
They're constantly doing stuff. But
if you saw some of these burly motherfuckers try to do a Maltese, you'd snap your bicep.
Yeah, you will quickly bust your bicep. That tissue's just not strong enough to do what you want to do until you've worked it and increased that connective, the ligaments. So, yeah, it's crazy.
And I mean, we were talking about the whole like the dolls and shit. I remember hearing about this lady. I think she was in Australia or New Zealand. She started this thing called tree change dolls, and I'll show you a picture of this right here. But it's pretty impressive. So she'd take like those brats and other like slutty looking dolls that these girls had, because she said this is complete horse shit. Like this is like look at what you're doing to women's imagery,
right?
You know what I mean? To these young women's minds, and so she took like paint thinner and took all the paint off, and then started redoing them, making them like look like real women, like natural.
That's kind of cool.
I think it's kind of amazing. She started giving them clothes, and that were like just real clothes, not like mini skirts.
Wow,
and high heels.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, this is something that I actually like,
Yeah, this is something especially younger women need. It's like nowadays, like, dude, the Photoshop is so prevalent. I mean, you look at social media and it's like women are always trying to get the best pose for the best picture. And it's like, dude, why are we selling? You look at these, and this is like, I have a lot of gripes with the fitness industry because I was like trying to do that for a little bit. But it was like, you put these fucked up pictures up. They're Photoshopped, that you're in your best lighting, that you're in your best pose. And then you're trying to promote this like social acceptance bullshit where it's like, well, why don't you just be 100% upfront about what you really are, and then support other women by really showing what a real woman is? Because that's another reason why men look at these women and they're like, dude, I need to break up with my girlfriend, there's hotter chicks out there. And it's like, dude,
that's love.
That's not what right that's not what a real woman is.
I learned that when I was 16. First time I had a fucking that winter of a girlfriend I was telling you about. But the first time I had my fucking dick sucked, I'm like, I'm in love. This is love.
It's like every dude, they're like, yes.
And then the first time you get pussy, I'm like, oh wow, like that confirms it.
What's that monkey? That's that monkey biology. That monkey biology is like, dude, you need to breed, continue the bloodline.
Yeah, and that's obviously and then at a young adolescent age, like hormones are running rampant,
right?
And you're just like, I just want to fuck all the time,
right?
Yeah.
But honestly, and I was the same way back then when I was with my ex-girlfriend, the one that lives in Chicago. Me and her were together for 5 years, roughly. It's been a real up and down, like crazy experience, but she was the only one I was with the entire time, you know what I mean? And like, I didn't want it any other way. I enjoyed being with her. We had amazing sex because we cared about each other. And,
right.
I mean, yeah, she's gorgeous, but that was like the perk. Like, it was like the connection that we had. I didn't want to be out sleeping with other women. And I feel that after I got out of Buds the first time, I was in a fucking depressed mood, and I remember I was in this barracks where they put all of us, and there was a quote from Gandhi on one of the lockers that said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And
popular one.
Huh?
It's a popular one.
And it's a good one because it's honestly, it's the truth. I think that, like you said, back to the bravado, it goes with the women, it goes with the men as well. Like, there's such a false sense of masculinity out there. Like, men don't fucking show their women they love them. Men don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, men don't do this or men don't do that. Like, I would fucking take a chick to get a pedicure right now because they're cool. I don't mind getting them. It's not like I get them all the time, but
that is a positive change, though, right? Like, we've been talking a lot about negatives and the current culture, but back in the day, that's what the culture was. Like, you don't show emotion. Guys are like just stones that are there. But now that's actually one positive thing that has changed, right? Culturally.
Well, yes and no. I think that there's a limit. When you're a fucking pussy. You know, I was reading some tweet or some shit somebody said about this this dude probably gets pegged by this chick anyway. But like he posted this tweet on like they went and saw Wonder Woman, and it's fucking hilarious. And she's like, after the end of the movie, they were in the car. She's like, so that's what it's like to have like a role model that's empowered you like that, like a gender-related role model or some shit. And you're like, and how they both cried about it.
Oh fuck.
Like, I think that's there's a point of showing emotion, but at the same time, like women still want to be.
They still need a man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My boy Jamie, he's a fucking badass, by the way. He met this girl down here, and I mean, it was just interesting. The first time I met her, she's a great chick, but she's like we were talking about this too, and how it's funny. Because she's from Seattle, she's fucking like, I don't know if it's a liberal arts degree, but she's a fucking liberal. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but she's very liberal. And
doesn't shave her armpits, liberal?
Huh?
Doesn't shave her armpits,
no,
liberal?
She's a really really cute girl. Not that she wouldn't be if she didn't shave her armpits, but I don't know if my boy Jamie would be cool with that. But he's just the two of them together, his mentality, still being in the military,
Interesting.
His views on everything and kind of her views on everything. I'm like, this is funny that you're with him. I'm like, but at the same time, like, I get it.
Sometimes opposites attract, right?
I think that what you said, they still want men, and he's a alpha male. You know what I mean? He's a fucking stud. You look at the dude; he's a very sharp-looking motherfucker. He's buff. I mean,
yeah. As much look, I have this discussion a lot with like feminist chicks that I talk to that are like
they don't like men.
They don't like
men,
that. Yeah, they're very
masculine
man-hating, but at the same time, they're still attracted to the buff, good-looking guys that look like they have really great genetics.
You know why?
Where their biology is telling them that's a
biology.
good. Their biology is telling them, no, that's a good one to breed with. That's
because,
good babies.
yeah.
They're good, healthy babies are gonna come from there. You can't fight your
they have
biology.
a fucking vagina, and
Yeah.
it's craving
Your monkey
penis.
DNA.
Yeah.
Your monkey DNA, you can't supersede that as much feminist as you are.
Yeah, it was funny too, because like me and him, we went to this concert with her and a couple of her friends, and we all went out to eat. And this one girl that was her friend, fucking super hot chick, dude, kind of tall. She was with this dude, and like, I walk in, like, hey, how you doing, but I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, just kind of like, what the fuck. And I hate saying that, but it's like, I was kind of confused. I'm like, is this her boyfriend or is this like the gay friend? Because that's kind of what, like, that's
Yeah,
how he
no, I know
presented
what
it,
you're saying.
You know what I mean? And not that there's anything wrong with that, and I'm not trying to belittle this guy in any way, but to me, I was like,
A very effeminate guy, an effeminate dude.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
also, I don't know, like later on that night, she was flirting with me.
Oh.
It was just, I don't know. Not sure about that.
But I know what you're saying. Like that, I know what you're saying. It's
and it's just, I don't know. It just seems to me that unless she's absolutely head over heels in love with this guy, if
That's not
if
gonna
the
work
right
out.
guy came along, I think she'd have made an exception.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the biology. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean,
don't-
you're attracted. You're not gonna try to hardwire your biology as much as you want to. You're just
I don't
not.
think you can.
Yeah, you
can
can't.
And like that's what we're trying to do with this whole shit that's going on. When people are trying to I don't understand the whole sex change thing to begin with, because, like I said, if you're gay, then that's fine. But like, you're never gonna be a man if you're a woman. You're never gonna be a woman if you're a man.
I guess those people. Look, I claim ignorance on the whole situation because I don't know enough about it, but. And I probably won't until like I get in a position where and that's
Well, you
never going to
can't.
happen.
It's beyond
right.
you.
You're
There's
right.
nothing wrong with that.
And I think the understanding is they associate with a certain sex, which I still don't know what the fuck that means. But also,
it's a fucking term that we've created.
right. But I think at the same time, you also got to admit
That's
there is some ignorance involved with that, because I've also heard of people who associate as like wolves, and they associate as like other
Are
animals.
they out in the fucking wolves
Well, that's-
with the wolves?
So that's
butt
my point.
naked,
It's like
eating raw
you're-
flesh. You
My-
know,
and that's my point. It's like, dude, you're associated. Like, I think we're stretching these terms a bit too much. I
I think a lot of people want attention.
that's definitely a
Any
thing
minute of
in the
fame.
U.S. That's definitely a thing for sure.
And then honestly, it's like, to me, we're normalizing mental illness.
And that could be for sure. That's some of that as well, for sure.
I mean, I have a huge disagreement with a lot of the things that go on. You know, not to. I'll just say this to say this: that you were made a certain way for a certain reason, and if you can't accept that, if you can't accept who you are, then you could change sexes all you want. You could change clothes. You could change into a wolf. You could pretend to be a wolf. Whatever the fuck it is that you think you need to do. But in the end, you have a problem with yourself. That goes back to what I said in the beginning of this, that you have a problem, a self-acceptance problem with who you are and what you see in the mirror every day, and that you can't accept it. And I'm sorry, I don't believe in sugarcoating shit. We're making victims out of our children. I mean, fucking suicide rates for kids is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's because kids are cruel. We all were victims of bullying and
Right.
also bullied other kids at the same time. Now, with that being said, I learned at a young age how to deal with bullying. You just gotta fucking hit them in the head with something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you teach your kids to say, you know what? Don't fight. It's not okay. But when people bring you to that point where, like, you can't stand who you are, like, they're just constantly on you.
Right.
Fuck it. Go out.
Yeah.
Go out fucking swinging. Because guess what? They won't fuck with you again. They'll find somebody else. They'll find another. Criminals do the same thing. This is simple. Predator mentality.
Yeah.
They find easy prey to prey on.
Yeah.
And we're creating victims, and I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Well, like, and I don't know. I mean, especially as like young men, like little boys. Like, I don't know what it's like from the women's standpoint, but like for young boys, sometimes young boys try to like stretch their boundaries, and they try to like find out how far they can go, and then
That's basic childhood psychology.
yeah. And so I think sometimes the bullying is the same situation where they're trying to maybe subconsciously, but they're still trying to like assert dominance in a certain way.
Sure.
And until you stop that behavior, you're going to keep it going. And so I think that sometimes what you got to tell your kids they got to be able to fight back
Yeah.
and stop that behavior.
I mean, I had a friend when we were kids. He was kind of he literally was redheaded, and he was, I don't want to say it was a stepchild, but he was this goofy-looking redheaded kid. And he was one of my best friends growing up, and we were fucking complete polar opposites. He was into like Magic, The Gathering, and fucking
Right?
Dungeons and Dildos, and whatever else that there is out there for guys that do that stuff. And that was fine. I mean, we were young kids. He was one of my good friends, and there were several times where people were trying to fucking fuck with him, and I got in fights because of it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like when we were around, to me, it's like the whole fucking with your friends thing. We fuck with you because we like you. Not
You ball
because-
bust.
Yeah, but there were times we were young.
A little
we're
far?
kids. Yeah. Again, we were young. We're kids.
Right.
But he's still like, I see him to this day. Like, I haven't seen him 2 years ago back home, and we talked for like an hour in the 7-Eleven back home. And how's you doing? How's your mom? How's your brother? You know what I mean? I seen him one time. And we grew apart, as we got older, like people do. But it's not. He's still considered like somebody that I genuinely like.
Right.
Like he could always be a friend to me. Like, but it just kind of goes to show that like there's even when we were kids, like people were trying to pick on him. I got in fights because of it.
Right. Well, he's your friend still. I mean, despite whatever, you're still friends.
Well, and that's where again, like some people, I don't know what it is. They're scared, man. They're scared to fight back against, and that's fine. And like that's why we need more people to say, like this whole anti-bullying thing. Like, I mean, it's one of those. It's a feel-good thing. It sounds good, but when you're creating kids that they're going to grow up, and when somebody does fucking try to punk them out of some shit, they're not going to stand their ground.
Yeah.
So you know what? Fuck you. What's the worst could happen anyway? As elementary school kids, and they're going to get punched in
the only
fucking tooth or
Yeah.
fucking busted lip. Like
The only argument I have against that is like things have also changed a bit from our time to like
Sure.
now. Like it's not just anymore like a physical bullying or just like a school related bullying. Like now it's going to like social media, and it's getting it's getting very psychological with social media.
Today we live in the generation of what I like to call the intellectual bully. Everyone likes to think that they're smarter than you, and they'll belittle you if you used your Y-O-U-R in a sentence on social media instead of Y-O or Y-O-U-R-E, abbreviation. And it's like people like the second you do that, anything that you stated is just automatically out the window.
Right.
And honestly, it's the whole like we call them telephone tough guys, but now they're like it was called internet gangsters.
Keyboard
warriors.
There you go.
Keyboard commandos. Yeah. It's like it's real easy for you to sit there and shit talk somebody from a keyboard who knows how many miles away.
Right.
Go say it's somebody's fucking face.
Yeah.
Seriously, because you know what? There's an old saying: talk shit, get hit, and I'm a firm believer in it. Because guess what? You'll learn to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I think my concern is more so like for the kids that get like the really fucked up bullying, like the ones where they get
like Bad Luck Brian.
What was that? What's that?
You never seen Bad Luck Brian?
No.
Look that shit up, dude. Look,
it's
a fucking meme, dude. This guy, this redheaded motherfucker, dude, that had a goofy looking picture in a yearbook, and somebody just took his picture and they just started making fucked up memes out of it. And
poor guy.
Yeah, but there's a couple others out there.
Yeah, I could see how easily, like, let's say you're a girl and you send a picture to a dude, and then as the dude puts you on blast on some sort of Facebook high school group.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who've committed suicide for shit like that.
And honestly, but that's again, like...
Oh, yeah, we have seen that guy.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the name?
Bad Luck Brian, that
poor guy. But, you know, like, so shit like that, and it's another fucked up situation. Like, shit like that, you'll laugh about. Or it'll kill you then. But like when you're old, you'll laugh about it, right? You just got to get through that weird, fucked up time period in high school.
That's the whole that's why I hated the social system in high school, because everything is like all cliquey and I hate fads and trends, and just like. I mean,
it's great for the people that were on top of all that shit, but like you and I were definitely in like some weird corner niche group that we weren't part of any of those weird popular cliques, and so it was like it's great for those people in that time. But, you know, if you're the other people, it's like, fuck, it's hell. Like, high school's like...
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is, because kids are fucking cruel. But that's where, to me, like, I believe in holding people accountable. You know, if you're going to do that shit, you're going to put some girl on blast or guy on blast. Like, you know what? That's unacceptable.
Right.
It's unacceptable behavior. And... there should be some consequences. Now, I don't know what those consequences should be. Maybe your dad should break off in your fucking ass, take all your shit, and drive over the lawnmower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like...
yeah, it's just a tough situation. For social media, it's definitely a tough situation for kids now as far as, like, bullying. But,
I don't know. I was never very, very good with the girls. And really still not. But, definitely not very good with the girls in my younger years of life. Middle school...
yeah,
high school. High school was weird. It was just a weird time of life, and like even then, I was never very like good with the girls. And I don't know, and I had a very fuck you mentality. So I still do, but I've just got a different approach at it now.
Yeah,
I'm more sarcastic and.
Well, you've probably grown up a bit too. You know, it's you seem like maybe you had a little anger built up. You know, and then
I'd say I had a lot.
Yeah. But, you know, some of that comes from growing, and then a lot of it comes from just self-analyzation. You know, as a kid, you don't think about any of that shit. You don't assess your actions. You don't assess why you do what you do.
Can't.
You just do. You just do. And that's understandable. You're going through so much shit that, dude, high school is fucked. And then adding girls to that and adding social pressures and then still trying to figure out who the fuck you are. It's a weird, like, hodgepodge of stuff.
I mean, I don't know how to fix it. Obviously,
there's probably no fix.
But... you got to try to fix somehow, and the only way to do that is fucking get rid of this bullshit. I mean, I know that's just a blank statement because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But when I worked for the school district back home before I moved down here, I used to have headphones in and do my routine every day after school when the kids leave. And I'd have them up just loud enough to be able to like listen to my music, but also like I could hear you if
What's
you're trying
going
to
around,
talk to
yeah.
me,
Mhm.
but not eavesdrop unless I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I usually didn't try to bother teachers if they were working. If they wanted to talk to me, I'd talk. If not, I'd just keep going. And I remember sitting there one day, and like this lady's sitting there, like just staring off, and I could tell like something's bothering her. She's got that look on her face. I'm pretty good at reading people. So after like 5 minutes, I do my thing, and I'm about to walk out the door, and I just kind of like I looked at her, I take my headphones out, I'm like, you know, you all right? And she just looks at me and she says, "Is it ever going to get better?" And like I knew exactly what she was talking about. I knew exactly at that moment. Like I said, back to the whole strangers and how sometimes just things, and I knew exactly what she was talking about. How like our society, our culture, our country is just in this fucking gloomy, fucked up state when it's not getting any better, and everybody feels it. And she said, you know, "Is it ever going to get any better?" And I looked at her and I said, because this is what I truly believe. I said, "Yeah, it is. But it's got to get a whole lot worse first." Because what you were saying, you know, about
go
how
through some suffering.
vanilla society, like there's no sacrifice, there's
Yeah.
no compromise, there's no fucking satisfaction from a hard day's work. There's no,
Yeah.
you know, sacrifice and commitment. And it's going to take a lot of that to get things back on track. And until some bad things happen, and I don't really want to get into what those might be, because there's a lot of different things, but time's going to have to get a lot worse, dude. My grandparents lived through the Great Depression. And I'll tell you what, if this country ever had to go through something that horrible again, there would be fucking bodies stacked up, because people are not prepared for that.
Right.
Mentally, physically, spiritually. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the fucking intestinal fortitude. And that made both of them and people of that generation just that's why
Tougher.
they were called the greatest
generation.
generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they had backbone. When
People are
times
definitely
got tough,
softer
they got
now.
fucking tougher. They
Yeah.
dealt with it, and that's now everyone's like, "Oh my god, did you hear what he fucking said about me?" I'm like, I don't fucking care. Let's get back what I was saying originally. If that bothered you, good. If I offended you, good. You needed it,
Yeah.
because that's a you problem. You need to develop some skills to get over it.
Yeah, I think we have, because we are now granted like so many things come so easily to us right now. Like we then look for other bullshit to fill our time with, and then we start dealing with like celebrity news and blah 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 blah.
Oh, I
And-
fucking hate that
And,
shit too.
and so until things get difficult again, like we're not gonna be able to let go of all
Like,
the
what's
bullshit.
the big one now? Did you hear about OJ? I'm like, I don't really give a shit about OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
I fucking don't care. I do not care. And somebody's like, "Oh, did you hear about this person?" I'm like, no. You know why? Because I don't watch the goddamn news anymore. The best thing I ever did was stop watching television. The shit's just fear porn.
Yeah. It's
Some of
true.
it really is.
I've met other people that agree completely. Like somebody will, and it doesn't matter if it's CNN or Fox. It's all the same thing, just on a different frequency, different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just different subject, but the same subject. They just.
Yeah.
It's just like Republicans and Democrats. It's kind of the same thing. It's just opposite of each other.
Yeah, the part that surprises me is like how it's quite impressive how long they could keep that shit going. They could do it all day.
Oh no!
I'm like,
oh,
how
yeah,
do you
they'll
do
keep it
this
That's why
all day.
people are all
day?
fucked up. They sit in an office.
Yeah.
They had CNN's playing
All day.
long, which is this fucking. Oh my god! Did you hear what Trump did? Oh my god! And like, what? I
Yeah.
don't even know
No,
what he did.
that's all.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what did he do?
Yeah.
It's
That's all it is.
impressive. It's
That's all it
impressive
is.
how long they could keep that going.
Is it impressive or is it fucking pathetic?
Well, both. I mean,
Or
they're
are
essentially
they-
taking like a 100-page or 100-word like essay and turning it into like an 18-page essay.
Where everyone
it's
outside is
insane.
running
Yeah.
rampant.
Yeah.
Like fucking chickens with their head cut off. Like,
Yeah.
that's what we've created. Such an emotionally unstable society.
Well, it's adding fear and uncertainty to people. It's making them a little bit more cautious to do
But
everything.
honestly, that's my advice to, I think, turn that fucking shit
yeah.
off.
I don't
dude.
like I've said I don't watch TV much
'Cause there's
anymore.
nothing. What are they talking about? There's nothing on there. Oh, hey, guess what? Your politicians fucked you out of today.
Yeah.
Or
Well, then it's just like, oh, Bob over here is an expert on this thing. Let's ask Bob what he thinks. Like, why the fuck do I care what Bob
yeah,
thinks?
Bob
Like,
is a fucking retard too.
yeah. Bob has
It's
his
a closed
agenda.
loop system. Like
Yeah.
everyone in this system is closed loop. It's like there's no. Why don't you ask somebody on the street? They actually like instead of some idiot, they're like, I don't really know anything. I just want to keep walking and get high.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's,
true.
it's
The perfect example of this is I was watching news on Friday. No, not Friday. Wednesday. They said John McCain had brain cancer. That was like the big news
I'm
story.
like, so here's the logical statement, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong to think because brain cancer affects your capability of thinking, right?
Mhm.
Decision making.
Yeah.
Shouldn't this guy have to step down now? Like,
I would
immediately?
think so. But he's like, no, I'm gonna take some time off and come back. I'm like,
you're not.
it's brain cancer. I think you need to.
And-
I think you're done, dude.
Well, I mean, again, if we're gonna start getting on politics and political things, we could do that too. I'm all for that, but
And my thing was like they had it like the news normally at like 5 is like 2 hours. Like that was the whole story, the whole 2 hours. There's like no other news.
yeah, there's nothing else going on
No,
that you need to know.
and
about.
that was just that. I'm like that sucks that he
Yeah.
has brain cancer, but I'm like he's not the only one who's ever had brain cancer.
Yeah.
Like other people have had brain cancer.
My mom's friend just got cancer again for the 4th time.
Yeah, and my
What
thing
about
was,
her?
yeah, I was like, exactly. What about the person on the street who has brain cancer?
That's what
I was
I
like, what is this? Why
you know
is
who
he
I
so
feel
special?
for the most in this country is the fucking working class.
Yeah.
Is the people like, and it doesn't matter, men, fucking teens, family, women, family, fucking people, people that are just getting by on working.
Yeah.
They're not collecting government fucking assistance for anything. They're just making it on a paycheck with no health insurance, with no
Right.
nothing. You know, I feel bad because they're just crushing the fucking life out of these people, and I think I'm convinced that that's the goal.
Well, like I told you, I mean, the American dream is essentially dead. I mean, you cannot like
no, it's
have
credit card debt now.
Yeah, it's like yeah, pretty much. Like you can't afford a home. The white picket fence,
No.
like the American dream is like gone. The only way you're gonna do it is if you're working, your wife is working, and then maybe you can have a kid, and then maybe you'll have a house. If not, you're renting. Like there's definitely a big divide in the class now. Like you got the people that with the money and the people that are barely making it.
Yeah.
And we're in a
Well, that's what happens everywhere else in the world. That's essentially what separated America from every other country is the middle class, the true middle class.
Right.
And they're doing away with it. And I'm convinced 100% that this is all part of their agenda. Like this is something that's been going on for a long time. And it's the slow communist fucking takeover of America. Welcome to it. I don't really care.
the Russia slowly
It's not
creeping
just
in.
Russian, but it's just a fucking. Because, dude, this is another reason I stopped going to college. When I was in college, and I'm sure if anybody listens to this, you're gonna catch flack. I don't fucking care. But I'm sitting there, and this is 2010, 2012. So when Obama was being
Reelected?
running for office again. Well, they got this lady campaigning at the college, obviously for Obama, because you wouldn't see anybody there reflecting the other side, which I think is completely fucking biased, by the way. But, right? How can
Yeah.
you only be one-sided at a college? You fucking can't do this. It's completely, I mean, if you can't wear a t-shirt to a voting poll, you shouldn't be able to fucking only be one side. Oh, we only allow Democrats to fucking pool here.
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of bullshit? This is America. I thought everybody had a fair chance
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's bullshit. But she comes up, me and my friend, he's 19 at the time, getting ready to join the Marine Corps. We're both very like-minded, obviously. But I was fresh out, and she comes up, hey, guys, I'm just wondering if you guys are voting and who you're voting for. And James, he said something to her, I don't remember, and it's like, well, what about you? And I'm like, I really don't want to have this conversation. I don't. I know we're not going to see eye to eye.
Right.
And she sits down real nice, and she's like, well, why not? Let's talk. I'm like, all right, let's talk. Here we go. And
Pull up a chair.
I don't know, man. I was just listening. She was like a 24-year-old school teacher, go figure, in California. Like, where the fuck are you in Nevada, for one? How's that even fucking fair? But she starts talking about all this fucking all these bullshit empty promises that they always make everybody. It doesn't matter regardless of side, because I know it's all bullshit. Both sides. They fill your heads with empty promises, and they never pay up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, look, what you're talking about is fucking socialism. I'm sorry, I don't support socialism. I used to march around base and run around base singing songs about killing fucking socialists and communists. I'm sorry if I don't agree with this. You know? I'm sorry that... And she looked at me with the most confused look on her face. And this is where it got... Because I started thinking differently. Like, it's kind of terrifying. She looked at me with the most confused look on her face and just like... What? And she said, "What's wrong with socialism?" And I was like, honestly, I was so enraged at that statement. If it would have been a dude, I would have gone over the table. Glad I didn't. But there's like a flag waving on a pole in the background, like right next to me, and I'm like, and that's all I could think about. Like, I couldn't even think of anything. It was just red, and I was like, because that's not what those fucking red stripes on that flag stand for.
Yeah.
People have died for fucking free choice, and you know what? There's this big argument on anymore. My buddy's brother has a fucking master's or doctorate in sociology. He's a fucking socialist, which I don't care. But it's like, he can't even, they can't define this term. They can't define it. And like, because I told him one time, I'm like, communism, fascism, socialism, it's all the same. You guys just change the name as you see fit. And he fucking was like, no, it's not. I fucking hate when people say that. And I'm like, you know, it all ends the same way. A totalitarian dictatorship. I don't give a fuck. Call it what you want, you know. And where does it stop? We're indoctrinating children in school, because that's where it starts, to think that this is the way it's supposed to be. And you know, like, it blows my mind, because they're kids, they're fresh, dude. Like, they're taking this in. And I had college professors that are like, oh, utopian socialism is the best political structure we can have. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, I'm pretty sure everywhere I've looked at the word utopia in a dictionary, every dictionary, like, there's a word fictional associated with it. Because we live in the real world where, guess what? You go outside in fucking Idaho or Dakota or Illinois or wherever. You go outside in February, it's fucking cold. That's the reality.
Yeah.
But this whole like, we're going to develop this utopia. I'm like, no. Because here on Earth, people die. Horrible deaths every day. Like, you're not going to get away. It's not going to go away. You cannot get away with that. This is a universe where duality exists. Chaos exists.
Right.
Has to exist. So a utopia is, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've looked in several dictionaries definitions of the word utopian or utopia, and the word fictional is always associated in that definition because it's from a storybook.
Right, there's no perfect world. I think everybody's looking for perfection, but that goes back to our original discussion where even if we were to reach this utopian life, right, like, I still think that we still need struggle. We're still going to need something to continue our motivation.
It has to do with...
To give us that pleasure.
In my opinion, from the perspective I've seen here, again, the duality. We live in a dualistic universe. Like, there's... It's everywhere around us. I mean, if you look at a yin yang symbol, that's exactly what it is. Like, there's
the white and the black, and
there's light and dark, and essentially,
right.
I mean, this is something, and people will argue against this, but I mean, this boils down into a physics level and electricity. I mean, I'm taking classes
positive
on electrical current and positive and negative. And this is what physics is essentially, and like how, you know. There's just the entire universe is filled with this never-ending, perpetuating battle of positive and negative forces of all kinds. But until people want to start looking at that and saying that that's because you're absolutely right. The old saying, if every day is a sunny day, then what's a sunny day? I wake up every morning almost nowadays looking in Arizona. I'm like, fucking about to look up my blinds. I'm like, goddamn blue, sunny sky. Fucking heat. I'd rather have these clouds, honestly. I like it when these clouds are here.
Yeah, that's how I am.
it's just like every day is a sunny day. You don't appreciate the sunny day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we see people that spend thousands and millions of dollars every year to go to places like Hawaii. But I bet you if you live in Hawaii and you're there every single day, at some point you take that for granted. And you're like, okay,
I
whatever.
don't think a lot of the people that are indigenous and grew up that way, that's where I think, like, kind of back to the depression thing. I think we've created this life where their heads are so filled with bullshit and materialism
Yeah.
that we forgot what life's about, dude. Life's about smelling the roses. It's about, like, kissing the person you love at night and being able to hold them and feel their warmth and the security that you both get from that. Biting into your favorite food after not having it for a long time and just being like, this is the best fucking thing ever. You know what I mean? Watching the sun go down or watching the sun come up, going out and looking at the stars, having some drinks with some dear friends and family. You know, sitting around a table at Christmas time or Thanksgiving or any time, and just enjoying the companionship of your friends and your family,
Right.
having a meal together, watching your children play and laugh. You know what I mean? Like, the things that we take for granted, all that shit. And one day it's all going to be gone, and you're going to look back and say, where did it all go? Now, honestly, I don't have children, but everybody I know does, and in a way I kind of vicariously live through them and their kids and seeing the joy that, I mean, I see it. Like, I've had friends turn their life around because they had children. It gave them something to live for.
Right.
You know what I mean? It gave them responsibilities
More
that
drive.
they fucking needed to have, because
Yeah.
if not, they would have been drug addicts and alcoholics. They needed that responsibility and that love and joy and something to depend on them to get their shit together, or else they wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And so I absolutely agree that we need that constant struggle, that constant reminder. I mean, essentially that's what Thanksgiving is supposed to be about. It's a holiday of being thankful for what you have. And here's the irony of it. We turn it into a fucking gluttony.
Yeah.
It's a gluttony.
Yeah. It's changed. Yeah, the intent is a bit different. I mean, remove the fact that, it's a pretty fucked up holiday if you really think about it. But the idea behind it is nice. But yeah, it's definitely changed.
Think about how much food is thrown in the garbage the day after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a gluttony. We're all going to sit around and
Just
drink
eat
and
until we
feast
pass out.
And I may just go either take a huge shit and eat more, or just go vomit
Yeah.
and come back for seconds. It's a gluttony. It's like, wow, that's a way to really show thankfulness. There's people really out there that would probably kill somebody to eat even a sliver
Food you're
of
throwing
what
away.
eating. Yeah.
Right.
And,
It's perspective for sure. Yes.
that's- the one thing I gained out of the Navy, because I think being in the military has a tendency to make people disgruntled. A lot of expectations that you never got to live up to, and unless you did, which very few people do, I think. But traveling on the world and seeing some of the things that I saw, that was an interesting experience, and I'm thankful for that, because I'll tell you what, some of the happiest people I've ever met in my life were from dirt poor countries, had nothing. They can still smile with no teeth, you know what I mean? And that's should be a reminder to all of us that it's not about materials, man. It's about the things that really matter most. Money will come and go. I mean, objects come and go. I mean, unless something has like true sentimental value to it, it's just what it is. It's just a fucking object.
Yeah. It's fascinating the way we've actually definitely been, for sure, programmed, right? Like, a little bit of it is definitely programming and forcing us, like marketing and TV and whatever forces us to want things, to want the newest phone, to want the
But
newest
it's
car.
constant want.
It's constant. Yeah, it's never, you never are full, just like with food.
No,
You're
there's-
never full. But it's definitely interesting that you go to these countries that maybe don't have the marketing, but also because they don't have the ability to get what they want, even if they could get it, or they don't have the ability to get what they want because financially they're unable to, they still seem to be happier in many respects, more so than the people that have the most.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. I don't know if we were on the mics at the time, but like that dude from Lincoln Park,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just died and or committed suicide apparently, but goes to show you, here's a person has fame and fortune and they're still miserable. And then there's more to it, and I'm not going to try to, degrade him, but I mean, him and Robin Williams, the dude from Soundgarden.
Yeah. No, Chris Cornell.
Yeah, I mean, how many of these people who have everything?
Yeah.
They have the fame, they have fucking all the money they could ask for, and they still got to fucking go home and hang themselves because they're not happy. What's causing that unhappiness?
Mm-hmm.
When you cannot buy, I mean, the old saying, money can't buy happiness. Well, I think it can help, but you have to be able to disconnect yourself from the materials anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I might be able to buy you a chunk of land and put something on it that's enjoyable, but if that's not enjoyable to you, then it's not going to be.
Yeah, you gotta feel bad for the family. He has 6 kids.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I was, I don't know. I think when circumstances like this, like back to the whole telephone tough guy, keyboard warriors. I got a friend that committed suicide when we were in high school. Suicide's kind of it's a subject that should be treated lightly with, and regardless of your views on it, whether you think that person is a chicken shit because they opted out, you know what? Keep your fucking opinions to yourself, man. People fill up these news feeds with statements like, "Oh, Linkin Park fucking sucked," or fucking fuck Chester, he's a pussy.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad he fucking did it. It's one less fucking pussy.
That's dark, man.
I mean,
too soon.
Like, again, to me, that's a problem that you got with yourself, even for saying that statement. To go out there and say that, you could think whatever you want. You're entitled to your beliefs and your opinions, your own thoughts. But to go on a news feed and say that, like, I don't, you know what, dude? Somebody who commits suicide, and like I said, back home, there's a lot of people who committed suicide. It's a subject of needs to be treated lightly because everybody in that person's family is gonna have demons to face now and be like, what did I do that made him not think that he was loved or cared for, or it just, it doesn't even matter if you're a fan of their music. Just having to respect, just that somebody died and that he's got family.
Yeah.
Well, like, did you hear some of the comments people were saying about McCain once they found out about the brain cancer? Like, people were saying, like,
oh, I'm sure.
It's like he needs to die. Like, good for him. Like, what, dude? Like, what the fuck are these comments? Like, what did he do to you? Did he kick your dog?
You could sit around and bullshit, but like to go on a news feed and say that, like, to me, that's that crossing the line. Like there's memes that are like, we could joke about them, but they're I got some on my phone. I'm all into fucked up shit. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But there's a point, especially like I got one I sent to a person back home, and it's like not necessarily making fun of a retarded person, but it kind of is. Now, at the same time, I wouldn't go up to a retarded person and fucking.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a difference though between humor and then some guy going on Twitter and being like, oh, I'm glad he's got it. I hope he dies. I'll go, that's fucking. Where'd you go? What do you do? Kick your dog? Like, where's this coming from? Why do you have a vendetta against this one guy?
Oh, because he's a Republican.
It's just like, come on, man. That's not enough.
That's not even relevant.
That's not
like,
enough.
Unless he butt fucked you or your kids or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's
like,
dark.
Yeah, even people who are like, oh man, I hope Obama dies. Why? Like, or even people are like, oh man, I hope Donald Trump dies.
No, dude, you know, it's funny that you say that.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand you hate him that bad, but like there has to be like a limit to like how much you hate. You can't be like just wishing people to die.
Again, like somewhere in the last couple of years, and I don't even know, but I'm telling you, it all boils back to this: you have a problem with yourself.
Yeah.
Because what you were saying, dude, like for 8 years, I was never a fan of Obama.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
And I was kind of one of those guys that, but based on certain media sources, certain things that you were constantly hearing, seeing, they fan these flames.
Yeah.
Of whatever bullshit, and I never liked the guy. But with that being said, I watched 8 years of people making all kinds of fucking crazy accusations. Saying the most hate-filled fucking speech, and then overnight when Trump got elected, it was like, boom, a fucking switch, and all of a sudden it's the same thing, but now it's all the other.
Yeah, it's just the reverse of it.
And I was like, I watched it. I was like,
yeah, it was instantaneous.
Yeah,
it was
and it's like
quick.
Everything I've been seeing from this one side just fucking flipped over, and now all of a sudden it's the same shit.
Yeah, it's the same
thing. It's all from this side of the aisle now, and you're like, what the.
But it almost feels...
That's where I really started to back away, and I'm like, hold on here.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like it's just like that's become the new TMZ. You know what I mean? That's become the new entertainment just to keep people just
Oh yeah,
constantly
That's
at a
again,
certain
I'm so glad I stopped
buzz.
watching TV, man. It got to a point during the whole Trump campaign, and not even the Trump campaign, but even before, like I think he even officially was going to run for office. It got to a point where Comedy Central, what's TMZ? By
It's
the
like
way?
it's like
Entertainment news.
It's like entertainment news
Okay.
kind of thing.
But like Saturday Night Live and
Yeah.
Comedy Central, that's
Yeah.
all they were doing.
Yeah,
was
that's
just
all they did.
political.
That's
I'm like,
all they did.
People, I want to turn into this and see something funny, not something involving politics. And again,
Yeah.
like, they're just pushing this whole, like this celebrity's gonna make fun of a Republican, and I'm like, and I'm not even a Republican. Let's put that out there. But it's just like, don't you guys think this ain't even funny anymore?
Right.
Yeah. No.
Shut the
It's like
fuck up.
you don't watch a movie. You watch a movie to get out of your current fucking world. Like you don't watch SNL to get back into it. Like the only reason those jokes would be funny is because you're keeping up with whatever's going on in the
Sure.
news.
Or once in a while, maybe it's funny, but when it just becomes every fucking skit they do and every night, like Jon Stewart, and like it's all Comedy Central became
Yeah.
was just like this, like, hey, let's make fun. And they never did it for the Democrats, really. It was only when it fucking flipped to the script.
Well, SNL's very Republican, right? Democrat.
Yeah,
right?
Democrat.
I think a lot of the media has a tendency
Yeah.
to lean that direction. A lot of Hollywood has a tendency
Yes,
to lean that
yeah.
direction. They took Tim Allen's TV show off the air, and they'll say it was for whatever reasons they want to, but I'm pretty sure there's a large group of people who are convinced that it's because he's one of the only conservatives left in
Wait, what was the show?
Last Man Standing.
Yeah, I think it was Last Man Standing.
What was that about?
Just the Tim
It's-
Allen
yeah, it's
show.
just about him.
I thought it was like, what was the Home Improvement? I thought it was like, took Home
It's
Improvement
kinda,
down?
yeah, it kind of was just like Home Improvement,
was
but
it?
a different
Yeah,
setting.
yeah, it was just older.
It's the same shit, you know. But it's just like Fox News is geared to a certain audience.
Right.
CNN is geared to a certain audience. Those shows like Tim Allen's show, where they're geared to a certain audience, and that's what they're trying to do.
But once again, it just feels like the news now is just like a little dose of just whatever's gonna keep everybody just fucking
Because that's how fucking mundane
entertained.
everyone is.
Yeah.
That's how dumbed down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever listen to any of Joe Rogan's podcasts,
Yeah, I listen to
like,
all
he's
this
fucking
shit.
hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I don't agree with any one person on everything.
Right.
But I think that, you know what, for the most part, I could listen to that dude talk about shit all the time because it's relevant. He talks about how they're just dumbing people down, and like
Yeah.
it's fucking true. I worked for the school district. I saw it when I was in school. I saw it. I mean, fuck, I did an extra year in high school. I think I got more school than a lot of people. 2 years of college. I'm going to a technical school. But just seeing, like, what the fuck are we teaching these kids? They're
Yeah.
like, back to the Thanksgiving, like, they're still teaching these kids the same watered down fucking Pilgrims and Indians
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
They're running
Yeah.
around on stage dressed
Yeah.
as fucking Indians and fucking Pilgrims.
Yeah.
And sure, it's for the kids, but it's like, you're kind of distilling
History,
something
right?
inaccurate.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting, man, what's been happening. So we've been at this for 2 hours now.
That's cool.
So you got somewhere to be, or should we try to do the rest of this next time? Because we haven't even gotten you out of the military yet. You're still in boot camp.
I might have to do it next time.
That's
Dude,
a
I got no life. I mean,
We'll have
shit
to
doesn't
do it
matter.
next time because I
That's
feel like
fine.
I'll have to break this up because editing this bitch is gonna be a pain in the ass.
That's fine.
But this was good,
Um,
man. This was fun. This is fun because it's like, I have more questions about boot camp and then afterwards.
Sure,
There's,
and
there's,
I have a tendency. I'm fucking ADD, bro.
No, you're good.
I will just keep. I will bounce over here and then bounce over here and then bounce over here, bounce over there.
you're not as bad as I am. I tend to just go random. I'm like,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the whole point of editing, though. You can.
no,
kinda
I don't edit
feather
much,
it all
but
back
I
together.
still have to render. No, I don't edit shit. Like this will
No,
go
but
on
you
the
can
way
like
it is.
feather it back together, like where we
No,
start to lose.
I won't do any of that shit. It's too much work.
Really?
I'll just dump it, but I'll add something because it has to go on YouTube, so it has to have a visual thing. So I'll add like a thumbnail or I'll add like a whatever, so it's
So
on
do
there.
you ever do video with this, or is it?
I
just
used to, but the
audio?
problem is like trying to do video. You gotta get multiple angles because when you're talking and the camera's here, it's fine for you, but it's not gonna see anything that I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah.
So in order to do that, we'd have to have 2 camera setups, which means that for an hour, I'd have to go back and post editing and switch out the cameras whenever one person's talking. So it takes a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, I can see that.
bandwidth wise, like it would take me a tremendous amount of time to edit this. Like right now, all I'd have to do is just go home, create some sort of thumbnail. This motherfucker every week. This motherfucker always ruins the audio. Every
It's
week,
been a month.
He's like,
every
fuck
week.
these motherfuckers.
It's been a.
He
It's
does that
been
shit
a.
on
He's
purpose.
like, these guys are the mics. They think they're gonna get their.
It's been 4 for 4.
Yeah,
4 for
Maybe,
4.
hey, how about next time you
Just
don't come
interview
to the
this.
same place?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
do
that's probably what I
something
have to do.
different.
But
Sit in the back corner of a Chili's or something by the bathroom and listen to people fucking shit and fart.
yeah, I mean, audio, visual will be cool, but like Rogan's got a good setup because he's got his own like studio. You know, he's got multiple cameras. He's got one facing the guys interviewing, one facing him, and the Jamie dude is basically just sitting there, just swapping it out. You know, to do that like here, I'd have to have 2 cameras, and if it's a third camera. So the whole thing becomes like a gigantic production. Yeah, this motherfucker, I'm telling you.
He chased us out of here last week.
You should see him last time. He was like doing donuts, and he was like just doing like 300 feet runs.
Yeah.
I think it's funny, dude, because I mean, at some point, when you got a job, like, fuck, you gotta have fun with it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, there's people that pump sandy shitters for a living. That'd be pretty bad, but they gotta find a way to make it entertaining.
You gotta do it.
I think some of them do it like they see how fast they could do it.
Yeah, this guy is just chilling. And I don't mind. You know, I get it. If I had like that job, I'd probably just try to make as much fun as you
Yeah,
can.
I mean, there's nothing to say that he actually has to be out here picking shit up. Just drive around, dude. He's got vacuums on the truck. He's got a vacuum, a shop vac hose. I see him. He can wander around. So he's just going through parking lots, picking stuff up, which is not a hard job. Honestly, where the fuck you sign up for that job?
Just throw on a podcast and just shh,
Yeah,
driving around.
I've actually found, like, I'm trying to listen to a little bit more talk radio because, like, again, I'm tired of fucking the news, man.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this bullshit. Like, you know, people need something, like, other than this fictitious bullshit. Like,
You're kind of fucked either way. Like, you listen to talk radio, and a lot of it, if you listen to the news, you're just like, I'm done with this shit. And then you listen to the radio, and it's like the same 13 songs repeated over and over and over. And it's like, man, I'm kind of done with this. So I've defaulted to like specifically podcasts when I'm like driving or whatever, because it's like, especially if you get with like a dude like Rogan who gets some really crazy dudes on there who can talk about, you know, string theory and like whatever. You're talking about science, or he gets Neil deGrasse Tyson on. You're like, all right, this is going to be a good one, right? Like, you can get some information in, some education maybe, and not just listen to like, oh, Kim Kardashian's ass looks fake again. It's like, why do I give a fuck? Or the same 3 songs you heard like an hour ago.
talk about what I was saying earlier, dude. We've created a very autonomous society, and it's automatons. I mean, that's what people are. They don't talk, dude. When I was in college, I mean, I'd walk by people, and I could see, like, these younger kids, like, they would, like, the look on their face was like they're getting flustered because, like, we're about to make eye contact, and then, like, they pull their phone out of their pockets, or, like, they would pretend to, like, pick something up on the floor, like, just to avoid, like, say, hey, man, how you doing? Or,
that's happening
hey, bro,
more
get
often.
fucked. You know, like, I could give a shit what you have to say, but, or not even say anything, just look at them and just, like give them a head nod, like, but I don't know,
phones
man.
is making people more socially like anxious, and I think it's going to get worse as we become more of like technology driven. You know, I have people who like would rather send me an email instead of like walking a door over and just being like, hey, can we take care of this? I'm like, yeah, we can. You could have fucking called too, but everybody's just like, here's an email. I'm like, don't send me a fucking email. You're right next to me. You're right next to me.
I'm afraid that's the new
it's
the new way it is.
It's a little scary for sure, man. And that, you know, people talk about like, oh, why don't you have kids? I'm like, I don't know if I want to raise kids in this fucking society right now.
Shit, dude. I don't know. I'm in the same boat, and I'm not getting any younger. And if it's gonna happen, it needs to happen like now.
You're like, I'm gonna put it in the will of God. I'm just gonna stop wearing condoms. I'm gonna put it out there in the world.
Like, I honestly, dude, well, I don't want to be 35, 36 changing fucking diapers, dude.
Yeah.
Waking up, to like all the shit you should have been doing when you were 20 in your 20s, now I got to do when I'm 36. And
See, your 20s, man, nowadays, like your 20s are almost like your 30s, because in your 20s nowadays, you're not going to have a job where you can support that kid nowadays with today's economy and fucking what people are making for money.
They do it, and I mean, dude, I'd love to, and not to turn this into like a race or cultural thing, but I'd like to see some information on how many people are on fucking
Welfare
government
and
assistance, like welfare. I mean, because I don't think that how many single moms are out there not getting WIC, not getting fucking Medicaid.
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's all kind of part of the agenda. It's all part of the plan. Get as many people as you can hooked on government assistance.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, dude, I grew up 2 blocks where I went to school, elementary school, 2 blocks from Indian reservation back home. I grew up with Native Americans. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of the race card bullshit. But what I've seen, and this doesn't matter, race, color, creed, man. When people get government assistance their entire life, their will to fucking strive goes away. They don't care. Like, this is why you go to fucking reservations, or they look like shit. You go to fucking Section 8 housing, it looks like fucking shit.
Well,
you go to fucking trailer parks, they look like fucking shit.
It's that same argument we've had about, like,
Yeah.
when you're getting something for free, there's
Yeah.
no struggle that's forcing
what
you
I'm
to
saying.
move forward.
They don't
Like,
need to do anything.
when they passed the minimum wage situation here, like, I was pretty pissed off about it because I'm like, dude, that minimum wage just motivates you to try to get something else, either an education or a better job or whatever.
I'm not well, instead of making the minimum wage higher, how about they fix the economy to make food not so expensive? You know what I mean?
That's
Because-
another option too.
Well, that's. I mean, it all goes hand in hand, and it blows my mind that you can make fucking high school graduates and college students and adults say, if you increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour, what do you think that's going to do to gas?
I don't understand how people didn't think about that.
What do you think that's going to do to everything else?
Yeah.
Everything else is going to go up as
Yeah,
well.
no,
And they're like,
that's what I had been saying. I'm like, yeah, everybody else missed that day in like
Economics.
in economics class
I didn't take
economics.
economics
or
classes,
whatever
figured it
class.
out.
They just missed that day in high school because
Logic 101.
yeah, because when they
It's
said
supposed to
that,
be a reflection.
I was like, yeah, if you do that, that cost goes up. But like everybody else was just like, no, that's cool, just raise it. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it's not
But-
like you're going to get an increase of $15 an hour to $15 an hour minimum wage, and all of a sudden all the goods and services.
yeah,
are
it's
gonna
just stay
at
the same.
rate.
That's not
because
how that
you know
works.
what about people who went to college to get out of college to make $15 an hour starting off?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You just now they're going to go in and say, well, we deserve a raise, because if this is entry level job skills. Which, I get it, man. I get times are tough, and that people. This is with the subject that it's not the minimum wage. It's that times are fucking tough, and that look, man. People want to talk about, go get a college education, go find a job. Well, it ain't that easy to find a job. that
No,
pays
not anymore.
money to where you can support. I mean, the cost of living has gone dramatically, increased dramatically, and I think that's what we need to hit is like, how do we fix our economy? And how do we?
Yeah.
It's not the minimum wage. The minimum wage is a reflection of the cost of living. It didn't matter if at one time there was a minimum wage of like $2. You know what I mean?
Cost of living was like less than. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we
Agreed.
fix that? That's because that's the issue that needs to be fixed, not the minimum wage. It's the cost of living, and that it shouldn't take 2 fucking people, a 2-person income, to support their house and 1 child.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it is now, for sure.
America used to be a better country than that, but you got greedy fucking scumbag politicians and rich people that just want to keep shitting on our economy.
Everybody's
That's
got to
what
get
I
that
said.
bigger boat, man. Everybody's in
Yeah,
contest for that
yeah,
bigger boat.
yeah.
You
Well,
got to be able to
you
get the.
can't-
Got to be able to get the
all money in world
Excalibur of
gets you
that.
A bigger boat can't get you a bigger dick, though. Huh.
There's that Cialis, man. That's why they made the Cialis and Viagra for those old dudes who are just, look at my
Yeah,
boat.
but
Let me invite some young 23-year-old girls on my boat.
Yeah, and how many of them would? I thought it was funny, man. I had a college professor. He was one of my favorites during college because he really pushed like the whole critical thinking, and really thought like you say something and then years later months later, years later, I look back at what I had said on a paper, what I had said in a discussion. I'm like, wow. Yeah, I didn't really think critically. I guess I thought as critically as I could at the time, given the circumstances. But he had a joke where he said, so this guy is at like a banquet or whatever and sees this girl, super gorgeous, and he walks up and he's like, hey, they're talking for a few minutes. He says, hey, would you sleep with me for $1 million? And she's like, yeah, of course. He's like, okay. He's like, well, what about $50? And she's like, no. He's like, so what about $100 or $150? She's like, no. He's like, well, 200. And he's like, and she's like, no. Like, what do you think I am? He's like, well, we've already established what you are. Now we're just determining a price.
We're just working out the numbers here.
So like,
Trying to haggle.
that's the truth. Like,
Yeah.
at what point is it? Oh, you're not prostituting yourselves.
Yeah.
If it's for X amount of dollars, or for X amount of products, or for a car, or for drugs, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
for
is
an
one
opportunity.
integrity and like having your own like code of I don't know, the word escapes me, but it's not there like it used to be in older days. I mean, it's definitely changed. Primarily because we put so much weight on money too.
That's again like, I'll keep saying the same thing over and over again, that I'm so glad, like, money doesn't motivate me. I don't know why. I think it's because I grew up watching my dad like just go to work, and that was always his excuse. Well, we got to have fucking money, and I'm like, and this was back when times were good for Americans, dude. This is back in early '90s, you know what I mean? And he was making fucking big money then. I mean, he was making shit. I mean, to say you're making $35 an hour now is good money. He was making that then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, sorry, you got to put 20 grand into your engine in your race car.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, you can't do anything without money. You can't do anything without money. And you're like, to a kid, that doesn't make any sense. Kid doesn't get that. Like, I just want my dad to spend time with me. You know what I mean? Like, let's go do some father-son stuff. But to constantly hear that, oh, well, I got to work, got to make money, got to make money. I'm like, God, I never want to be like that. I never want to be like that. I would rather live in a fucking RV in a trailer park, having just enough money. Maybe have a nice job. I'm not opposed to working. I'm not a lazy fuck, dude. I'll work, but I'd rather live in a fucking trailer park or in an RV with enough money to keep riding my mountain bike, keep working out, keep going to the gym, fucking training, take some classes for whatever I want to do. But like, as long as I'm doing stuff that I enjoy, money don't fucking drive me. As long as I'm doing the things that I enjoy in life.
There's definitely like a cap on money. Like there's a certain amount of money that you can do what you want and not have to worry about having money, right? And then there's also like
stable,
right, and then there's also like a
security.
level where like you just have too much money and you're focused on like you're almost putting like a weird your value to the amount of money you have situation. It's like when you're trying to get, you have a boat, but you're trying to get the Excalibur of boats, like, what are we doing here? How is that boat doing for you that the other boat wasn't doing for you?
Again, dude, like you got something
No.
to say? No, again, like I'm all for capitalism, dude, because it makes people strive, dude.
Right.
People, I mean, think about it like this, dude. Where in the world are motherfuckers getting on rafts, dude, to escape from?
Yeah.
And no one's doing that here.
Yeah.
No one's
get on
getting
a
on
raft and go to
rafts, bro,
Cuba.
to escape, to go to Cuba,
Yeah.
Cuba, or
Yeah.
to go to, say we're gonna raft into Canada. I mean, unless there's like wanted for a crime or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But people aren't leaving this country by the fucking flocking out of here, dude, because they're trying to find a better life. Like,
Yeah.
we got it really good here. The problem is, capitalism is a really kind of slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
You want it because
Yeah.
it makes you strive for more
Right.
and more, which is good. But at the same time, when you do get it all, I mean, shit, there's people driving around in cars that, dude, the cost of that car could fucking buy you a home for
Yeah.
guys like you and me, or pay off people's mortgages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I guess that's like, if that's, I don't know. Yeah, sure, it'd be sick to have, but it's not where my heart's at. It's not what I'm getting out of bed for every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that one other than if you get so much money that's just nothing to you. 200,000 racks is nothing. $500,000 is nothing. So, I don't know. But sometimes those people that make that much money, they can fucking hit rock bottom and they'll get that much money back again.
Yeah,
So-
for some people, I think it's the high of it's almost like gambling. It's like the high of making the money, right? Like that's kind of what they're looking for. Instead of a drug, maybe they're looking for the high of the rush of making that money.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that you could teach that, like how to make money like that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to learn. But
I'm sure.
I think it's kind of funny because I've read a lot of like self-help books. I've had some people tell me I should be a motivational speaker. I'm like, I haven't succeeded at anything in life to where I feel like I could even put myself in that position to tell you how to better your life. I can't even figure out how to better mine. You know what I mean?
It's a weird situation, right? Because like if Tony Robbins, arguably one of the highest like paid self-speaker guys, if he didn't do the self-speaking though, like he wouldn't probably have anything that he was like really good at.
No, absolutely, and that's
know?
where like I think that, and there's going to be people who obviously have a disagreement with this statement, but all the self-help books, all of, like I've listened to motivational speeches and shit on the internet. I mean, Tony Robbins is just another guy. He's a vulture. He's another guy preying on the hopes and dreams of other people. Because every self-help book I've ever read, every motivational speech I've ever listened to, everyone's all saying the same shit.
Yeah.
But they're all telling you the what. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. But nobody can tell you the how. How do you hit that switch in your head that says, I'm going to actually start doing these things?
Well, it's all individualized, right?
But that's what everybody pays to go for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the what. The what is the same shit your school teachers were telling you.
Yeah.
Here's how to succeed in life.
Right.
But it's the how.
I think
how.
that almost goes back to like wanting like an easy fix, like wanting a pill to does everything for you. And the reality is like I think the idea you got to go into it with those things is that you go and hope for that motivates something in you, but you still got to do it. You still have to hope
Everything
that
exists inside of you, and you have to pull it out.
Yeah.
But that's what they're looking for is the how. How do we pull that out of ourselves?
Well, that's easier said than done, usually. All right, brother, we actually kept going. It's 2.5 hours, and my thing's like low battery.
All right, we'll stop. There's always another Friday.
No, for sure. We'll have to keep going because we still haven't gotten into special ops, and I'm curious about a handful of things that we'll get into next time, for sure.
All right, yeah, I'm here for about another year down in Arizona.
You finished school then?
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. I'm an open book. I don't really care. I actually like going to this place. I might stay just to keep going to this place. It's been a struggle, dude. The last 8 months has been kind of tough. I've been kind of a loner for the last 8 months.
Really?
Finally starting to find like a place that I like to go and hang out and learn and train.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's just the gym.
Right. It's
Just
the gym, right.
I miss that, dude. I miss being around people motivated to train. And it's a little bit different training, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, I suck at this. I sucked at swimming. Took a long time, but I got pretty good at it. And that's what I want to do with this. Like, I want to get pretty good at it because I like it. It's done something to myself. It's done something to help me analyze myself and say, like, we need to constantly work on ourselves and improvement.
All right, hold on. Let me turn this off. So what we'll do is we'll continue this next time before this thing dies on me,
All right.
and we'll do it again. It's fun, brother.